We're going to be checking in with Ayodhya's Diwali celebrations first. 25 lakh diyas lit, a Guinness record that's been set. This is the first Deepotsav post the Ram Mandir consecration ceremonies. Performances, laser shows, all of that has illuminated Ayodhya. We'll be checking in with what the mood is like, the mood of joy, the mood of celebration, right here on the show. And after that, we are taking you to such an interesting story. We're going to be attempting to decipher the enigma of the Indus script. It is one of the big questions, the last major undeciphered script in the ancient world. Now, perhaps deciphered. We'll have Yagna Devam joining us, his interpretation of it. His translation of or deciphering of the scriptures has created a lot of conversation. We'll have him joining us right here on TBC. And after that, it is Diwali. What is Diwali without music, without celebration? On your screens right now, Sunita Bhuyan's soulful violin serenades. She's going to be bringing us her fusions. As we speak right now, she's joining us from Ireland with her incredible interpretation. And this year, remember all of that confusion. When is Diwali? Is it today? Is it tomorrow? The traditions, the timings, the Mehrotra. So what do astrologers say about the right time to do your pujas? Kartik Kaur is with us. He'll be guiding us through everything you need to know when it comes to puja timings, how to do your pujas. And we'll also be talking a little bit about tips for success through the next year. Conversation with actor Anupam Kher. He shares his thoughts on positivity, on trolling that he's received, and more. One more exciting conversation for you right here on the show. And we are not going to forget Halloween. Remember, 5 easy hacks to cast a spell. Why are we highlighting that right now? Because today is also Halloween and much of the Western world is celebrating exactly that right now. We haven't forgotten it right here on the show. Our focus on Diwali, of course, but we'll be covering some DIY Halloween makeup hacks that you can do. Manveer Kaur is joining us with all of her suggestions. As the Festival of Lights illuminates our homes, those visuals were coming to you right from Ayodhya, which is setting a shining example last night. And we're playing those visuals out for you. The city witnessed a spectacular Deepotsav. 25 lakh diyas lit along the river there. It's created a new Guinness World Record. This year's celebration, remember, holds significance. It's the first since the Ram Temple consecration. It's a testament to India's rich cultural heritage, the spirit of unity that the city has always been known for. As we kickstart this morning with positivity, with purpose, we want to take you and bring you a little bit more of that flavor that's coming in, the mood that is there in Ayodhya. Our colleague Arun, who's there, brings us this report. Take a look.
This 8th edition of Deepotsav in Ayodhya has created history, has become part of the Guinness Book of World Records. More than 25 lakh diyas were lit today by more than 30,000 volunteers of different colleges. And it's a very happy moment for all of them because this edition of Deepotsav is coming on that year when Pran Pratishtha, the construction of Ram Temple, has happened. And that is the reason why people are joyful and the atmosphere here in Ayodhya is electrifying. We have some young students who were participated in this diya lighting ceremony. They have been working for last 2 to 3 days here day in and day out just to make it possible that the Guinness Books of World Records once again features the Deepotsav of Ayodhya. So we have few students here सबसे पहले तो आप लोगों को बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं कि 25 लाख का जो टारगेट था, शायद अभी अनाउंसमेंट भी हुआ है स्टेज से, वो पूरा हो गया। गिनीज बुक ऑफ वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड्स में फिर से अयोध्या का दीपोत्सव चला गया है। सबसे पहले आप ये बताइए कि आपकी जो मेहनत है, इतने दिए लगाए स्टूडेंट्स ने, बच्चों ने, कैसा लग रहा है आपको?
बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है। हम लोग पिछले तीन दिनों से यहाँ पे हम लोग को रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी मिली हुई है यहाँ पे दिए लगवाने की, और हमें घाट नंबर 39 मिला है। वहाँ पे 1 लाख दिए का टारगेट था, तो सर हम लोग इस बार 1,10,000 दिए वहाँ पे उस घाट पे लगवा दिए।
अच्छा, इतने बड़े स्केल पर, जैसे 25, पिछली बार 22 लाख से शायद थोड़ा ज़्यादा था, इस बार 25 लाख से ज़्यादा का टारगेट था, तो कैसे आप लोग प्लान करते हैं? इतने सारे घाट्स हैं, कैसे जिम्मेदारी बांटी जाती है और कौन कौन से कॉलेज से स्टूडेंट्स आते हैं?
सर इसमें लगभग इस बार 30,000 वॉलंटियर्स थे, और पिछले 1 महीने से पहले से ही हम लोग तैयारियां शुरू करते हैं। तो सभी कॉलेज के अलग अलग एक प्रभारी नियुक्त किए जाते हैं, तो उसके अकॉर्डिंग मतलब हर घाट के कम से कम 10 प्रभारी होते हैं, 10 समन्वयक होते हैं, 1 इंचार्ज होते हैं। तो इसके अकॉर्डिंग 1 महीने पहले से ही सारी तैयारियाँ चलती हैं, और पहले 1 महीने पहले से भी सारी मार्किंग होती है।
All those preparations going into making that Guinness record possible. Let's take you now to our top story, one we're delving deep into. As Diwali continues to illuminate our homes, our hearts, today we're inviting you to join us on a captivating journey into one of India's most enduring enigmas. It's the mysterious script of the Indus Valley civilization. Imagine a time, thousands of years ago, when one of the world's first great civilizations flourished right at the heart of South Asia, marked by breathtaking urban planning and a culture that historians again and again say is remarkable because of just how peaceful it was. Right within that lies a tantalizing puzzle, the script of the Indus Valley, which has eluded scholars for generations. This research has been going on for 100 years. Why is the script so elusive? We'll get into it in more depth, but in short, there are a few issues. Number one, there isn't a Rosetta Stone of any kind. Remember, a Rosetta Stone, when we say that, we mean the existence of the undecipherable language along with a language that's already been deciphered, or a script that's already been deciphered, which would make it very, very easy for those who are trying to break into it. The other issue, there are very, very small samples of it that exist. Most of it, as we've said, comes on seals, and that's very, very short samples. That's largely been the issue when it comes to trying to understand this script. Now, the challenge is not just an academic one. It's deeply intertwined with the rich tapestry of South Asian politics, of its cultural history, and today we are thrilled to welcome onto the show Yagna Devam. His interpretations have ignited curiosity, debate in the scholarly community. Also, if I may say, Yagna Devam, beyond the scholarly community, this is something that, I was looking at this. There's so much involvement with it online, on Reddit, for example, people questioning, and you've been very, very open and actually engaging with those who are questioning it, and listing out, why you agree, where you disagree with their interpretations too. So if we could first start just by asking you to give our audiences a little bit of context here. This script that we're talking about, it's considered the last major undeciphered script in the ancient world. How did you decide this is something I want to give, a crack at? I'm going to take a crack at it. When did that decision happen? Explain that for us.
Right. So this was sometime during the COVID lockdown. There was no cinemas, no restaurants, nothing. It was, there was really nothing to do. So I thought, and it looked like the lockdown is going to last for years. So I thought I'll try to find a problem that will keep me busy for a while. And I bumped into this problem, and I tried falsifying existing decipherments, and then I realized I could use something called a cryptogram method to try to see if it works. And that's how I got into it.
So can you tell our audiences a little bit of your interpretation as to why you think previous decipherments were not working and what you think you did differently?
So there are more than 100 decipherments to falsify. Most of them are not decipherments, and none of them are complete. So there are 417 alleged signs in the script, and most decipherments only deal with like 20 or so. And that is not a decipherment per se, because you cannot read most of the inscriptions. You can read only inscriptions where these 20 or so the symbols are present. So I wouldn't call them decipherments, and mathematically they are not decipherments because when the scholars simply assign a value and read the value, they're reading what is called the key. They're reading their own assignments. So it did not seem reasonable to me, and I needed a model that I can mathematically prove is correct. So I tried my own system.
Okay, before we go any further, can I just ask you to explain to our audiences, this is a very important difference, the difference between a language and a script, because we're talking about the script here. The language also, we don't know much about it. But if you could first just tell us clearly what the difference is, then we'll ask you more.
Yes. So human brain is a symbol processing engine, and we can use auditory symbols, essentially sequences of sounds, to communicate concepts. And the automatically processes them and understands the information in that stream. So a language essentially is just primarily auditory. A script is a visual rendition of the same concepts, and you can render it in different ways. So for example, a script like Chinese, each symbol can represent a word, but other scripts could be sequences of sounds. And you can have the same thing written in multiple scripts. So for example, you can write Hindi in Devanagari, you can also write it in Brahmi, you can also write it in Kannada also if you want. So the script is what you see visually, the language is what the actual sequences of sounds and grammar and the concepts, the encoding of the concepts.
Can you tell us, there was seemingly, before you dug deep into this, there were seemingly some agreements, consensus around aspects. One aspect, for example, was whether this is read left to right or right to left. And it seems as if the consensus was that it is right to left, largely because if you looked at a lot of seals, there was cramping taking place towards the left. Was that a consensus you agreed with in what you found? And also tell us, what were the other, sort of pre-existing consensus that you had as a base that you could take when you went ahead to understand this?
All right, so there is really, the only real big consensus was the direction is right to left. Almost nothing else is a consensus because this is something you can mathematically measure. So not only the crowding, those are called external signs, but internal signs. Internal means internal to the structure of the message. External means their appearance, how they are carved and so on. So when there are inscriptions that are identical, but they occur on one-lined and two-lined inscriptions, that it can only be read right to left, for example. So this is the only real consensus. Everything else is a suspicion. There was a big suspicion that it would be some kind of Dravidian, and it's a guess. Nobody knows. There was there was a suspicion that this could be just not a script, but some kind of trademark or
right.
Some kind of logo.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are not consensus. Only this one is the consensus.
The direction of it. Can you just tell us, and you've already touched on this a bit, when we were introducing this topic to our audiences, we told them that right at the heart of this is a lot of South Asian politics. And this is a very, very evocative issue for people. I know, as you were approaching it, you had to be very objective in the way you were approaching it, very scientific. But it is a very, very emotional issue for people. Right at the heart of the disagreement is this question of what language family or script family does this come from? Are we looking at Indo-Aryan? So are we looking at, for example, Sanskrit? Or are we looking at the other option, Dravidian languages? And I just want to ask you, you seemingly have solved that in your interpretation. What was your process? Walk us through it, because we haven't actually gotten into how you did this yet.
Right. The how I did it is a different thing, and how I can explain it is
okay.
It is better. So essentially, Dravidian is what is called an agglutinative language. So in language, when you have a word, the root has affixes. And so, for example, if you talk about Kannada, Ava is, that person. Avaru is plural. And if you add alli, that's locative, it's in that person. So avaralli means in them. These affixes you add in agglutinative languages are regular. And the affixes by themselves are not words. In fusional languages like Sanskrit and Indo-Aryan, the affixes are kind of irregular. They're in different, you can have different things for different concepts. So when you look at the inscriptions, it is pretty clear it is not just not Dravidian, but it is not any agglutinative language. So it is not Elamite, it's not Japanese, or like about 90% of the world's languages are agglutinative. So it's none of those. And the inscriptions depict multi-stem compounds, like in Tatpurusha, I don't know how much people know about this, but you can join 2 or 3 stems and make a compound. So you can say Raja, Shura, Veera, and all of them can be one. And that is possible only in Sanskrit. So you see signs of those, which in that structure, which indicates that the language is, Sanskrit. Not even Hindi, it's just, Sanskrit.
Okay, and now can you tell us, I just want to lay this out for our audiences, what are some of the aspects that your research has unveiled beyond that question?
Beyond the language?
Yes, beyond the language family, yeah.
Right. So in the context, in the content of the inscriptions themselves, what I saw is a lot of names of Rudra, and mostly short names because there is no space to write the long names, and they have names like Rava, Tana, and so on. And the root of these words, these names, for example, the root of Rava is Ru, and Ru means both roar and kill, and Shiva is both roarer and killer. And I believe that a lot of the Sanskrit language, the reason all these roots have these dual meanings, they have all the meanings of the characteristics of Rudra, is because it actually evolved from this kind of theology. I saw many, I've seen names of Rigvedic poets like Vamra. Vamra actually means ant, but it's also the name of a Rigvedic poet, and many of such names. I've seen names of various deities which are very rare. They're only attested in Rigveda, like Nrahan for I think it's Indra, and Dhanvachara, which means someone who roams in the desert. That's also Indra. So there are all these rare names which I have a little bit of a Sanskrit background, but these things I had to look up to figure out what they are. So it appears that they have, the inscriptions agree with the iconography of, essentially the sacrifice. And you may have seen the Pashupati seal and the sacrifice seal and so on. So it agrees with that iconography. And, so I'm still reading, many of the seals. I've read only about 37%. And as I learn more, we'll present more of them.
Okay, I want to ask you one last question before we let you go. The manner in which you've conducted your research and shared it with the world, the review, the paper that you've written, you're constantly updating that paper itself. You're engaging again and again with some of the criticism that's coming in. I want to ask you, a big part of this field is the peer-reviewed process. Since you've put this out, you've shared this with the public, what have responses been like? I don't want to know from the public itself, but other researchers who, so far had believed they'd deciphered aspects of it.
Right. So there is no actual, I would say, critical feedback. There is essentially I found some good feedback which I have incorporated into my versions. I have improved them. One was try to see if you can reconstruct it with grammar. So I used Paninian grammar, and the readings got a lot better. And thanks to the people who suggested that. Another is the elimination of what's called L words. L words are words that were invented in the medieval times for Slasha poetry. So after eliminating that, I could get much more meaningful readings. Some people suggested that you have to figure out how this script emerged as Abugida out of nothing. And then I did some more research. I found that the script actually originates in 4000 BCE. So these are some of the good criticisms I've got, and that's helped me improve the paper. But there's plenty of, fallacious arguments such as, I cannot believe this, or, things of that nature. Mostly, I cannot believe it, or why would, somebody write this? I would have written it differently, and so on. Those things, there's not much to do because when someone uses a fallacious argument, I understand that they have admitted defeat, and there's no input for me from that argument to improve the paper. So I go to other people.
Yagna Devam, thank you for taking out the time and joining us here on Diwali morning. The work you're doing is such a crucial puzzle piece for all of South Asia to understand the way in which our history has played out. There are so many more secrets this could potentially unlock. So thank you for doing the work you're doing. This is an ongoing conversation. We're going to take you, our audiences, off the Breakfast Club into a quick break. We hope you found that deeply interesting. It's a complex story. We're going to head into a break. On the other side, more of the Breakfast Club. We're taking you to a musical journey on the other side.
Amid the ongoing tensions between the two countries, Nathalie Drouin, the NSA, to Prime Minister Trudeau of Canada, has made a shocking confession. NSA Nathalie Drouin has claimed that it was a strategic decision to leak information against India to the Washington Post, and she, along with Deputy Foreign Minister of Canada David Morrison, leaked that information. The leak took place even before the Canadian police publicly alleged that their probe into the murder of Khalistani terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar revealed links between agents of the Indian government and homicides and violent acts in Canada. She also says that she did not require Trudeau's authorization for leaking that information. Listen in as she speaks to the committee.
Deputy Minister Morrison and I spoke to the Washington Post on background late Sunday afternoon, October 13. We provided non-classified information on the action we had taken to cooperate with India and explained how the evidence showed links to the government of India conducting illegal activities against Canadians, including threats to their lives. The government of India has, from the beginning, accused Canada of engaging in a politically motivated investigation and using the Canadian media to further this. This is clearly not the case. However, we were prepared for this accusation to resurface. Therefore, we made a strategic decision to engage a respected international news outlet that had already published on the subject to ensure the record was straight and that our side of the story would be widely heard. Deputy.
All right, Siddharth Mishra has been tracking that story for us. He joins me on the phone line with more input. Siddharth, before we dive into the larger messaging behind this, important to also share what is the message going out and jog our memories a bit and refer to what Washington Post had actually reported in the first place.
Well, it perhaps tells two things. That one, that there is a classified information which was leaked, sensitive information which was leaked to the American press. It shows that how desperate Trudeau government is to implicate India and the senior Indian officials with this case. And the second is that that there has not been any action against these two senior officials of the Trudeau government. This is an ongoing investigation. The charge sheet has still not been filed in the case. There is no evidence which has been put forth by RCMP. Not even a shred of evidence has been shared with the government of India. Despite that, such names are being thrown in public. Deliberate attempts have been made so that the Indian officer's image can get maligned.
Welcome back. It's Diwali morning, and what is Diwali without a little bit of music, a little bit of communion? On this Diwali, we're joined by someone very, very special. The enchanting sounds of violinist Sunita Bhuyan. Sunita's soulful notes inspire us to kindle that light within. She is someone who has left a mark with her violin, with her voice. She's someone who comes from a musical family with a lot of lore. She actually performs with her son. She's going to tell us all about about it right here. And hopefully the sur that she plays for us today will stay with you through the next few days of Diwali celebrations. Let's go over to her to understand more about everything that it takes to be Sunita. Sunita, thank you for joining us here on the show. Sunita, tell us, where are you right now? In your case, that's not usually a question we start with, but in your case, it's an important question.
Hi, it's wonderful to be part of this Diwali show, and I'm here in Dublin in Ireland, and we were on a tour to London, and that's Ron with me, who lives in London and plays the piano.
Okay, we didn't entirely see him there I think in that quick swerve, but we do want to ask you to play a song for us. So play a song for us that you're associated with, please. Just because you're someone who's very well known, we want to give our audiences a flavor of that.
Well, yes, I have the violin here with me. We are at Gandharva Lok, a beautiful music store and performance center in the heart of Dublin. Led by Sadanand, and because I didn't carry my violin here, but I have got this beautiful violin from the store. And which song should I play? Of course, it's Diwali. It is a festive season, and being from Assam, I would like to play the anthem of Dr. Bhupen Hazarika. It's about humanity. It's about the river Ganga and the Brahmaputra, and why do you keep flowing? Can I have the chords, please, Ram? Upenda asked the river and shouted at it and said, "Why do you keep flowing?" The Hindi version. Vistar hai aapar, kar jano aapar, kare haakar, nishabd sada, o Ganga tum. The Bengali version. Vistirna dupare ashankhya manushe hahakar shune nishabdi nirabe o Ganga tumi o Ganga boicho keno.
Wow. Sunita, thank you, and also thank you for having your son join us in this entire effort. Thank you to him too. You know, it's not too often that we get to hear Assamese music on TBC, and that too with the violin. We're celebrating it, we're thanking you for that. Tell us a little bit about what it's like to perform with your family. We believe your mother was also responsible actually for taking the violin to Assam 65 years ago. That's what you've said in one interview. Can you just tell us a little bit more about what that's like?
Well, yes, the violin is a gift from my mother, who took the violin to the Northeast more than 65 years back. And of course, I didn't have her kind of dedication to teach the violin to Ron, but he learned the piano, so it was in the genes. And Ron's a trained Western classical pianist, and he plays Indian music by the ear because he's got no choice but to play with his mother. So, well, we've been playing this song together. And yes, it is a partnership to play with your own family. He's a third generation musician, and I got the gift. And I have played with my mother for a long time. Now she's 83 years old. But yes, it's a different feeling to play with your own flesh and blood on stage.
Sunita, if we can ask you lastly to perform a fusion piece for us, and I just want to give our audiences context. As you speak, you're in Ireland. So you perform fusion pieces, it's something you do. Can you just play something for us?
Well, yes, so what are we going to play now? Now that we are in a great music city, a great music country, Ireland, so what we'll do is we'll take a piece, so we'll take a little bit of an Irish folk piece which I learned 20 years back and fuse it with some Assamese folk, Assamese bihu. Everyone loves the Assamese bihu across India, so music is universal. The 7 notes are the same across all music in the world. So I think we can be kind of fused and put it together. I'll first start with the assemblies we do. Jana, if you want to speak, I'll give you the mic first.
Sunita, thank you. That was gorgeous. Thank you also to your son for joining in that performance. All right, let's take you, our audiences, now from that gorgeous music coming in live for you from Ireland. Now to something slightly different. We'll take you from the world of music to the world of movies. We're joined by a shining star of Indian cinema, Anupam Kher. This was a candid conversation that he had with CNN News 18's Anand Narasimhan. He speaks about his journey, what he believes is the true spirit of Diwali, and how he deals with any negativity, any trolling online. This was a longer conversation. Take a look.
कुछ भी हो सकता है में आप ट्रायथलन करेंगे कभी आपने सोचा था?
नहीं, बट इसीलिए तो कुछ भी हो सकता कहलाता है। अगर पता हो कि आप क्या करने वाले हैं, मगर ये थॉट प्रोसेस में होना चाहिए कि ज़िंदगी में कुछ भी हो सकता है। पर ट्रायथलॉन मेरे पास कोई लेकर आएगा 68 की उम्र में अबाउट ए मैन हु इज 69, ये तो मैंने कभी नहीं सोचा था। सो व्हेन अक्षय रॉय, राइटर डायरेक्टर ऑफ विजय 69, जो लेकर आए मेरे पास ये कहानी, और जब मैंने कहानी पढ़ी तो मुझे लगा कि मेरी अपनी ज़िंदगी की पैरेलल कहानी भी यही है। क्योंकि क्या होता है, दुनिया की, समाज की पूरी कोशिश होती है कि आपको एक ढर्रे में बांधा जाए, आपको स्लॉट किया जाए, सो दैट दे फील कंफर्टेबल अबाउट इट। करेक्ट कि यार ये अभी 400 फिल्में, 500 फिल्में कर चुका है, अब इसको वेटरन बुलाना शुरू कर देते हैं, थेस्पियन ये सब बुलाना शुरू करते हैं, फिर उसको एक लाइफ टाइम अचीवमेंट अवार्ड देते हैं, फिर ही विल वॉक इनटू द सनसेट।
हाँ, शेल्फ में रख देंगे
और इसको निपटाएंगे, नेक्स्ट आदमी को ढूंढेंगे। ये मेरे साथ चल रहा था, इसलिए आई यूज्ड टू ऑलवेज कॉन्स्टेंटली से डोंट कॉल मी ऑफ दिस, और फॉर नेक्स्ट 20 years डोंट थिंक ऑफ गिविंग मी एन लाइफ टाइम अचीवमेंट अवार्ड। फिर जब ये स्क्रिप्ट आया अबाउट ए 69-year-old मैन हु was looking at the report card of his life and he discovered that he has not done anything in life which can be called achievement. हालांकि मिडिल क्लास जो हमारी देश की 90% जो है, हम उनकी इस बात को मानते ही नहीं कि उन्होंने एक परिवार को बड़ा किया, बच्चों को बड़ा किया, उनको पढ़ाई कराई, उनकी शादी करी, उनके अपने नाते पोते पोतियों के साथ खेले, वो सबसे बड़ी अचीवमेंट है। करेक्ट, बट दैट इज नॉट कंसिडर्ड टू बी एन अचीवमेंट इन अ नॉर्मल लाइफ। और विजय 69 को लगता है कि मेरी अचीवमेंट ये है कि मैं अपनी सोसाइटी का सेक्रेटरी हूँ, या मैं डांस अच्छा करता हूँ, मैं उधार जो पैसे लेता हूँ वो टाइम पे वापस करता हूँ, तो मैंने हासिल क्या किया।
यू बिलीव स्पिरिचुअलिटी हेल्प्स? आपको लगता है कि आज के समाज में, और मैं एक कारण इसलिए कह रहा हूँ कि कहीं ना कहीं आप एम्पथी जो है, करुणा जो है, वो कॉन्शियसनेस से आती है। तो मैं आपसे जानना चाहता हूँ, जैसे आपने कहा डोंट ट्रीट योर पेरेंट्स एज क्लीशेज, ये समाज आज का थोड़ा बिखरा बिखरा लग रहा है, यू थिंक दिस इज इम्पोर्टेंट?
आई थिंक नॉलेज, जो इन्फॉर्मेशन इतनी ज़्यादा बढ़ गई है कि हमको बिखराव नज़र आता है। ऐसा तो है नहीं कि पहले परिवार में सब माता पिता को इज्जत मिलती थी, जो खराब लोग थे, जो बुरे लोग थे, वो फिर भी अपने पिताजी को ट्रीट ऐसा ही करते थे। हमारी नज़र अनफॉर्चुनेटली अब बुरी नज़र पे ज़्यादा पड़ती है। न्यूज़ हैज़ बिकम, आई एम टॉकिंग टू यू,
जी प्लीज,
न्यूज़ हैज़ बिकम न्यूज़ ओनली इफ इट इज़ अबाउट नेगेटिव थिंग्स। अच्छाई की न्यूज़ चलती नहीं है, बिकॉज अच्छाई इज बोरिंग।
ऐसा क्यों है, आप मुझे बताइए।
बिकॉज
देखिए, हमको दोष मिलता है कि आप लोग टीआरपी करते हो, टीआरपी इज व्यूअर ना, तो व्यूअर भी तो, हाँ, नेगेटिविटी सेल्स, बैड न्यूज सेल्स फास्टर, ये तो क्लीशेड लाइन है, पर ऐसा क्यों है?
मेरे ख्याल से ऐसा इसमें इसलिए अच्छा है क्योंकि अच्छाई को हम टेकन फॉर ग्रांटेड लेते हैं। जब बच्चा छोटा होता है और वो अपने माँ बाप को या बाप से गाली सुनता है और फिर बात करते करते गाली सुनता है, बजाय उसको डांटने के अंदर से पिताजी कितने खुश होते हैं कि मेरा बेटा गाली दे रहा है। इट्स इडियोटिक कि इसने गाली दी, वे नहीं ऐसा नहीं बोलना, ही इज प्रिटेंडिंग टू गेट एंग्री विद द पर्सन। I think we need to change.
नहीं, पर देखिए आपकी कहानी में भी देखिए घूम फिर के वापस आपकी स्टोरी पे
मैं गाली देता हूँ, मेरा कैरेक्टर गाली देता है।
गाली नहीं, आपके कैरेक्टर के साथ भी पहले कुछ बुरा होता है, उसके बाद ही इवेंचुअली होपफुली
दिवाली मनाई जाती है। अगर बुरा ना होता और बुराई के ऊपर जीत ना होती तो रामचंद्र जी के लिए रावण का होना जरूरी है।
करेक्ट। तो
पांडवों के लिए कौरव का होना जरूरी है।
तो क्या यही इंसाइट है कि देखिए कि कुछ इंटरेस्ट के लिए देखने के लिए थोड़ा बुरा होना जरूरी है, या थोड़ा सा
बुरा होना तो ठीक है, सिर्फ बुरा होना ठीक नहीं है।
All right, and from that enrapturing conversation, let's take you into a quick break. On the other side, we continue with the Breakfast Club, and we're looking at the right way to do your puja. Everything you need to know about the right time, to the right way to do it. A breakdown right here on the show.
Amid the ongoing tensions between the two countries, Nathalie Drouin, the NSA, to Prime Minister Trudeau of Canada, has made a shocking confession. NSA Nathalie Drouin has claimed that it was a strategic decision to leak information against India to the Washington Post, and she, along with Deputy Foreign Minister of Canada David Morrison, leaked that information. The leak took place even before the Canadian police publicly alleged that their probe into the murder of Khalistani terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar revealed links between agents of the Indian government and homicides and violent acts in Canada. She also says that she did not require Trudeau's authorization for leaking that information. Listen in as she speaks to the committee.
Deputy Minister Morrison and I spoke to the Washington Post on background late Sunday afternoon, October 13. We provided non-classified information on the action we had taken to cooperate with India and explained how the evidence showed links to the government of India conducting illegal activities against Canadians, including threats to their lives. The government of India has, from the beginning, accused Canada of engaging in a politically motivated investigation and using the Canadian media to further this. This is clearly not the case. However, we were prepared for this accusation to resurface. Therefore, we made a strategic decision to engage a respected international news outlet that had already published on the subject to ensure the record was straight and that our side of the story would be widely heard. Deputy.
All right, Siddharth Mishra has been tracking that story for.
Welcome back. Let's now take you to the question that's been right on top of the nation's mind in the last few days. When is the ideal time to do Diwali? Is it today? Is it tomorrow? And more importantly, when do you perform the puja? We are bringing you the breakdown right here. We'll try to clear some of that mist for you. In the last few days, we've had different experts on the show. There's been disagreement over when the right day to do it is. Today, we're joined by the renowned Vedic Vastu expert, Karthik Gaur. He's with us right now. He's going to break down a lot of this. He'll shed a light on what the most auspicious Muhurat is for Diwali celebrations. Let's just bring him on and let's go ahead and ask him some questions. Karthik, thank you for joining us early in the morning on Diwali. Happy Diwali, if I may extend our wishes to you. If you could tell us first, what are the key differences between celebrating Diwali today and celebrating it tomorrow? I've seen many communities start off their celebrations today itself. Tell us first.
Namaste and happy Diwali in advance to your viewers. So, in Jyotish, there are two ways of interpreting a Muhurta, right? And the best way and the most logical and rational way is the Tithi at the day of the sunrise. right? For example, today when I was just before talking to you, I was checking the tithi was Chaturdashi. So it is one day before the Diwali. And if you look at, so by logic, we always give importance to Surya. We are all Surya worshippers, and the tithi at the sunrise is an important tithi which is carried forward throughout the day. So technically speaking, we are on Chaturdashi as we speak today, and it is Shiva Puja, which is the most auspicious for today.
So then I want to break that down for our viewers into a more simple language. Just tell our audiences then the correct time to celebrate Diwali now, in a few hours from now.
So I would say, since the tithi tomorrow is Amavasya at the sunrise, tomorrow ideally, which is the first, so confusion has been whether it is 31st right. So I would rather prefer, or I would rather say that, hey, I am going to celebrate, or I am going to rather do my Diwali Pujan tomorrow and not today.
We always love asking people who come on our show who are experts, when are they going to celebrate and how are they celebrating it with their family? Because that's often the answer that we're looking for. Can you just tell us a little bit now about the Muhurat itself? So the exact time in which people should be conducting their Diwali Puja. It's a process, people often engage with their family pundits to ask them what the right time is. What's your research suggesting here?
So we have to understand that Diwali has a lot of importance associated with a particular sign called Libra, Tula. Now that Tula sign or Libra is the natural 7th house, and the 7th house is the business house. 7th house is the house of relationship. 7th house is the house of partnership. And that Amavasya happening in that sign Tula, which is Mahalakshmi, is the most important, and that's the logical and rational way of understanding the Muhurat itself. So the first part is, you can pick up a Muhurata which is the 7th from your Janma Lagna. For example, if I am Aries ascendant, I can pick up a Muhurata which is Libra ascendant, or if somebody is a Taurus ascendant, they can pick up a Muhurata which is Scorpio ascendant. Now this is something which is very personalized. Let's say somebody would say that, hey Karthik, I'm a very layman, I can't understand that. Give me simple times. So I would give you 2 times for tomorrow. One which is 5:30 a.m. India time, and the other is 5:30 p.m. India time. Both are fantastic and going by the rules of Jyotish. At the same time, it will work because both of them have Tula, which is very, very important sign, which is going to be very auspicious for you while doing your puja.
Karthik, tell us, we've talked a little bit about what Diwali symbolizes, and any Indian is used to the, the familiar slogans we say. It's the victory of light over darkness. That's something we say all the time. But tell us, according to your research, according to your beliefs, is it also just a time where if you are someone who celebrates, this is a time of good tidings no matter what you do? So even if you aren't someone who is necessarily going to do the puja, this is a time of good tidings. Is that how you see it?
100%. The whole logic to Amavasya, see, we have to understand Diwali is celebrated on Amavasya. It is the darkest day, right? Everybody knows that. Now, what is the advantage of darkness? That whatever you start on that time is only going to give you light. You can't go even below that. That's why we say a malefic Atma Karaka in a horoscope is superb, because you are in complete darkness and you are running towards knowledge. So the advantage of Diwali, or starting things on Diwali, is that, hey, this is the darkest period, and anything that you start on this day is only going to go towards the light. So that's the logic part of it.
So tell us then, I do want to ask you, we've had sometimes, people who watch the show say and suggest that it's not just puja, it's even meditation, that if you do it this time or these times can be very, very fruitful for you. So if you just sit down, for example, for an hour, 2 hours and you meditate, that itself can be fruitful. I want to ask you if you agree with that, but then I also want to ask you, if you do agree with it, what time do you suggest, what day do you suggest people sit down, meditate, and how long for?
In fact, as far as Gayatri Mantra is concerned, they say that the Gayantam Trayati Sa Gayatri. So that morning 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. is called as Kali Gayatri. And all the great meditators, including the greatest of the meditators, they all meditated at the midnight, which is called as Kali Gayatri. And that is associated with Amavasya. So the best time, if somebody would say that, hey Karthik, I really want to take my meditation at a different level, at a different chakra, I would say that, hey, try to meditate at midnight. So every day, the midnight Gayatri has the power of Kali, which can take you from the darkness to the light. So that there comes your answer. Midnight of every night is a special tithi, like the afternoon 12 o'clock is called as Abhijit. The midnight is called as Kali Gayatri, which has the power of Ma Kali. She can remove, she is the mother. She is the one who can remove us from darkness to the prosperity.
I have to ask you here, Karthik. I know that we've had so many experts on the show actually say that you should actually be meditating early in the morning, Suraj ki pehli kiran. That's the right time to meditate. In fact, right before the sun comes out is the right time to meditate. So I just want to ask you there, for Diwali, are you suggesting none of that? Meditate at midnight? That's part one. But part two, how long to meditate for if one wants to bring in the good tidings this Diwali?
The general meditation time can be 15 to 20 minutes. That's good enough for normal people. If you are not a yogi or if you are not somebody who is looking to attain moksha, or that is the higher version of the thing. See, the logic to meditation is don't meditate during sunrise. That's the logic, because if you meditate during sunrise, then it will impact your career. So that's why, if you are looking at a Brahma Muhurta, which is before sunrise, or you are looking at midnight, where there is no chance of sunrise, these are the two various paths to reaching the same God.
Wow. Okay, let's take you back now and let's take our audiences back to the questions we were asking a little earlier. We'll go away from meditation for a second. Tell us now more about conducting pujas. So you see pujas take place all the time. Today, going into the fact that, lots of India is going to be embarking on pujas through the day today. Actually, they've been coming off pujas in the last few days too. But what are the mistakes you see people make again and again when they're conducting pujas? Right from, maybe not holding their hands in the right way, not pronouncing what they need to pronounce correctly. What are the most common mistakes you see people do? What are easy ways to make sure that doesn't happen?
The most common mistakes that people do is they get overwhelmed and they start doing Kubera Puja. Now, the thing is, you have to understand that, hey, nobody has got more wealth than Mahalakshmi. And even during that puja, I have seen that a lot of people forget the concept of having Narayana with Lakshmi. It's like inviting a wife without inviting the husband. That's not going to work. So that is very important. And plus, most importantly, I've seen a lot of time people get excited and they directly start with the Lakshmi Pujan without forgetting Ganesha. Hey, he is the Prathama Devta. You need to establish Ganesha Pujana first before going towards any other Devta, because that is the blessing that he has got. So any puja which is done without Ganesha is frankly not going to fructify. So technically the order is Ganesha has to be there, and then Narayana or Vishnu has to be there with Lakshmi. That is the most important thing.
How lovely. Mr. Gaur, thank you for joining and thank you for setting the record straight in so many ways. You've answered all of our questions. We've really, taken you through a gamut of questions, right from meditation, the right way to do puja, to finding the right time. You've given us an answer on all of them. Thank you for joining us and a happy Diwali to you, sir, and to all of your family.
My pleasure. Happy Diwali to you as well. Thank you.
All right, let's take you now from Diwali to a very quick sojourn to a different celebration that's taking place in parts of the world right now. We're looking and talking about Halloween. Now, of course, our focus is going to remain on Diwali, but we need to touch very quickly on the creativity that we are seeing, that we see every single year when people put their best into getting their costumes, their makeup just right for the scariest day in the year. October 31st this year is, as we've said, both Diwali and Holi. And today, on the show, we're joined by the talented makeup artist Manveen Kaur. She's sharing her top Halloween makeup hacks. You have to be so careful, remember, when you're using any kind of face paint on your face to make these looks come to life. So we thought we should have an expert on the show to teach us everything you need to know if you want to go about creating that 10 on 10 Halloween look. This is Manveen. Take a look.
Everyone is in complete festive spirit at the moment. But let's not forget, Halloween has been gaining so much popularity these days. Hi everyone, my name is Manveen Kaur and I am a Delhi-based makeup artist. Today I'm going to be sharing 5 super easy makeup hacks this Halloween. Oh yes, Diwali as well. Let's just call it Diwaloween. Now these hacks are going to be very easy to do and very simple, with items that can be found in your home, such as a fork, silver foil, a cotton bud and toothpicks. Who knew? These can be the quickest makeup hacks for Halloween this year. Let's start with the first hack. All you're going to need is a piece of silver foil like this and crumble it. a piece of silver foil is right here, done in under 2 minutes. And this is the fake blood that I created with powdered sugar, cocoa powder and red food coloring. Who knew? Halloween makeup hack number 2. For this hack, all you need is a simple fork and your red lipstick. Let's start. So what you need to do is take your red lipstick and coat your fork like this. The sugar syrup with red food coloring gives your Halloween makeup a very realistic look. For the third Halloween makeup hack, all you need is a wooden skewer or a toothpick and your black liquid eyeliner. Let's start. With your black liquid eyeliner, coat your wooden skewer with eyeliner like this. Now you want to make sure that the entire skewer is coated with black liner, just like that, and you have to ensure that the skewer is coated at least halfway through. With this, we are about to create the skeleton teeth. When your skewer is coated, let's start. The best part about Halloween makeup is you don't have to be neat about it. Go crazy, play with makeup and just enjoy the spirit of the festival. The more rough it is, the more exciting and scary it will look. This next hack, I will be teaching you how you can turn yourself in a scary puppet with the help of any bottle cap lying around. So what you're going to need is a bottle cap, your red lipstick and any eyeliner brush. Let's start. Last but not least, do not forget that fake blood you created with sugar and hot chocolate. Your old bottle cap turned into a scary puppet in less than 1 minute. For this last Halloween quick makeup hack, all you need is your old mascara. That's it. Let's start. Just like that, your last Halloween makeup look is complete with just one mascara and definitely under 1 minute. I hope these hacks help you all to create amazing, fun, creative, quick Halloween makeup looks this year.
All right, and with that, we're going to be closing the show. We hope you enjoyed the Breakfast Club. We took you across the country, different visuals of Diwali celebrations coming in. Now is the time to spend more time with your family, to have those great conversations, to eat meals together, of course, to remember what Diwali is supposed to stand for. From our side, once again, we'd like to say a happy, happy Diwali to you from the Breakfast Club and also from our larger CNN News 18 family. Have a great Diwali. We'll see you in tomorrow.
Amid the ongoing tensions between the two countries, Nathalie Drouin, the NSA, to Prime Minister Trudeau of Canada, has made a shocking confession. NSA Nathalie Drouin has claimed that it was a strategic decision to leak information against India to the Washington Post, and she, along with Deputy Foreign Minister of Canada David Morrison, leaked that information. The leak took place even before the Canadian police publicly alleged that their probe into the murder of Khalistani terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar revealed links between agents of the Indian government and homicides and violent acts in Canada. She also says that she did not require Trudeau's authorization for leaking that information. Listen in as she speaks to the committee.
Deputy Minister Morrison and I spoke to the Washington Post on background late Sunday afternoon, October 13. We provided non-classified information on the action we had taken to cooperate with India and explain how the evidence showed links to the government of India conducting illegal activities against Canadians, including threats to their lives. The government of India has, from the beginning, accused Canada of engaging in a politically motivated investigation and using the Canadian media to further this. This is clearly not the case. However, we were prepared for this accusation to resurface. Therefore, we made a strategic decision to engage a respected international news outlet that had already published on the subject to ensure the record was straight and that our side of the story would be widely heard. Deputy.
All right, Siddharth Mishra has been tracking that story for us. He joins me on the phone line with more input. Siddharth, before we dive into the larger messaging behind this, important to also share what is the message going out and jog our memories a bit and refer to what Washington Post had actually reported in the first place.
Well, it perhaps tells two things. That one, that there is a classified information which was leaked, sensitive information which was leaked to the American press. It shows that how desperate Trudeau government is to implicate India and the senior Indian officials with this case. And the second is that that there has not been any action against these two senior officials of the Trudeau government. This is an ongoing investigation. The charge sheet has still not been filed in the case. There is no evidence which has been put forth by RCMP. Not even a shred of evidence has been shared with the government of India. Despite that, such names are being thrown in public. Deliberate attempts have been made so that the Indian officer's image can get maligned. And perhaps that is what the government of Canada is doing at this point in time. Now, this is the first-hand confession from the NSA and the Deputy Foreign Minister. And also, interestingly, Akanksha, there is a contradiction in the statements given by both these senior officials. NSA has to say that she did not divulge the detail, leak the info. Deputy Foreign Minister said that journalists from the Washington Post called him and asked him that is that the same person? So he confirmed that yes, he is the same person. Perhaps that's the conversation he had with the journalist, and that was how Home Minister Amit Shah's name was given to the Washington Post.
Right.
Now, the Indian government should protest strongly and perhaps put pressure on the Canada on what basis the Home Minister's name is being taken by the Canadian officials and what evidence they have to implicate him directly in the case and to malign his reputation.
So whether it is the Trudeau government or even RCMP which says that they have credible evidence to back these claims, the fact of the matter remains that none of this has been followed up via diplomatic or official channels, or so much so UN Human Rights Commission has not even been approached, one that could conduct a free and fair trial for extrajudicial killings. Having said that, what does it speak of the approach that the Trudeau government has taken now?
So the approach has always been very negative. Approach is always because Mr. Trudeau wants to consolidate his own political position. So, every week or perhaps every second day, that's kind of a strategy that he has put in place, media strategy, that his government officials come up with the one or the other allegation regarding the Nijjar case and the crime taking place in Canada. And each time around, the attempt is to malign the image of India and the Indian officials. And this time around, they have implicated Home Minister Amit Shah, who is responsible for the home-related matters of India. perhaps is not anywhere directly involved in India's foreign policy. Though he's no doubt second number in India, perhaps second most powerful man in the government.
Siddhant, I'm afraid I'll have to interrupt you there. In fact, I'm joined in by Mr. P.K. Sehgal, who's a defence expert, joining me on the phone line. Mr. Sehgal, first of all, I in fact want to know from you what is the approach to be adopted when one is investigating top...
Good morning and a warm welcome and wishing all of our viewers a very happy Diwali. I'm Avantika Singh. You're tuned in to CNN News 18. Some breaking news coming in. The Madurai Meenakshi Amman Temple administration has issued a safety advisory just ahead of the Diwali celebrations, requesting the public to refrain from setting off fireworks or any other hazardous materials near the temple premises. So that's the news coming in. This precautionary measure is due to the temple's ongoing consecration ceremony. It's a very significant event occurring once every 12 years, and extensive renovation works is also presently going on, including the painting of the iconic towers. So to protect the temple and ensure public safety, protective covers have also been placed around the structure. Therefore, devotees and residents in nearby areas have been asked and requested to cooperate by avoiding the bursting of firecrackers or any other flammable materials just near the temple premises during Deepavali, maintaining safe and a sacred environment. Purnima joins us for more on this. Purnima, tell us a little bit more about, the significance of this advisory that has been sent out to all the devotees, and why exactly have people been asked to avoid to burst firecrackers?
Well, Meenakshi Temple is an iconic temple as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned. It's a decade-old temple. It's decades-old temple, and currently the renovation works are going on for Kumbhabhishekam. That happens once in 12 years. It's a grand event, and considering it's Diwali and there are no restrictions per se to burst crackers in Tamil Nadu, there's an advisory issue to the people to ensure that they don't burst fireworks in and around the temple, this to ensure safety and to avoid untoward incidents, because fireworks are quite dangerous. And currently, considering that they are preparing and works are going on for the event, which is Kumbhabhishekam, they want to ensure that the public do not come anywhere closer to the temple to burst fireworks, because they want to protect the temple, and also they want to ensure safety in the run-up to the grand event that is planned once in 12 years. To ensure no untoward incident takes place, the advisory has been issued to the public to not burst crackers anywhere closer to the temple. At least 200 meters away from the temple is where they are allowed to burst crackers. That's the advisory given.
All right, Purnima, I'm going to leave it at that. Happy Diwali to you as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's shift our focus to another breaking news coming in. Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka, D.K. Shivakumar, is mulling a revision of the Shakti scheme, the Congress guarantee, saying that many women, in fact, have written to him expressing their